Have you ever heard of the UVB-76 station? It's also known as the buzzer or the Russian buzzer. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's real. Since the 1970s, a mysterious transmission has been emitting a constant, repetitive sound over shortwave radio at a specific frequency. That's right, the same sound. For decades, an intermittent buzz, no official explanation, no one claiming responsibility. And sometimes, the buzzing stops. For a few seconds, a voice comes on the frequency and speaks coded messages. Disjointed words, names, codes, it never repeats. After that, the buzzing returns. The station is Russian, although it has never been officially recognized by any government agency. Many believe it's related to espionage. Others say it's mind control. Some even say it's part of an automatic nuclear detonation system, where if the buzzing stops, the weapons automatically launch. I sincerely hope it's not the last option. I've always been fascinated by mysteries like this, but UVB-76 got to me differently. It wasn't just a strange story, it was a call. At first, I just researched. I spent nights reading forums, watching videos, listening to old recordings. The buzz is hypnotic. It gave me headaches, but I couldn't stop listening. That's when I decided to go further. I bought an SDR, software-defined radio, which allowed me to capture shortwave frequencies. It was cheap. I set it all up here in my apartment. I started tuning into UVB-76 every day, recording everything, keeping a listening journal. In the beginning, it was always the same noise, a radio hiss of some sort. But after 3 weeks, something happened. It was 2:15 in the morning when the sound stopped completely, total silence. And then a voice came in, male, robotic. Like reading a text, it said,
UVB-76, 7, 9, 2, Анна, Николай, 3, 5, 4, комета, отслеживать.
And then silence. I heard the buzzing again a few seconds later. I was shocked. I knew this happened, but hearing it live, it felt like it was meant for me, felt personal. The next morning, the atmosphere at home was strange. All my electronics were messed up. My phone was freezing, the TV turning off by itself. At night, I heard a sound coming from the radio, even though it was off. Yes, off. But that was nothing compared to what was coming. In the following days, the buzzing started sounding different. Deeper, more irregular. I began having strange dreams, all involving Russian voices, eyes watching me, and a metallic sound, like a clock ticking out of time. I dug deeper. I found out that the UVB-76 station had changed locations several times. Some people had visited old transmission sites, abandoned places with signs of sudden departure. Unmade beds, rotten food, equipment still on. One of them was a bunker near Poverovo, Russia. Isolated, no one's been there since 2010. But the transmissions keep going from somewhere. I got in touch with a guy from Poland who also monitored the frequency. He sent me some bizarre audios. In one, you could hear a woman crying behind the buzzing. In another, someone said, "He's coming, stay silent." I started recording everything and posting small clips online. That's when things went downhill. One day, I received an email with no sender, an audio attachment. That was it. When I opened it, I recognized the UVB-76 buzz. But something was different. In the background, I could hear my own voice, me, reading a passage from my journal. How was that possible? I turned everything off, stayed days without listening to the radio, until I started having small blackouts. I'd wake up in different places around the house. Once I woke up with the radio on, recording, and the recorder said, "File 143. number that didn't match my sequence. When I opened it, I heard a clear message in English, a calm male voice.
You are listening. They know. Stop now.
That was the first time I felt real fear. I started recording everything with cameras, not just the radio anymore. And then on a Sunday night, 3:20 in the morning, something woke me up. A sound, like radio interference mixed with footsteps. I got out of bed slowly, camera in hand. The living room was cold, freezing. The radio was unplugged, but it was emitting the buzz, the cursed frequency, louder than ever. I didn't sleep that night. From then on, every time I turned the radio off, the dreams got worse. Disconnected, twisted images, an underground base, codes on walls, children with white eyes, metal chambers, screams. I woke up sweating, bleeding from my nose, and the radio. The radio emitted voices no one else could hear. I took my radio to another place, left it at a friend's house, wanted to get rid of it. 2 days later, he calls me. "Man, what is this? My TV burned out, my dog's barking at the radio, and there's a woman singing in Russian inside the device?" I apologized and asked for the radio back, but it disappeared. The radio vanished from his house without a trace. No cameras caught it. The recordings disappeared from his hard drive too. I know what you're thinking, that all this is paranoia, that it's an exaggeration. But listen, I have the recordings, some of them, the ones that remained. And they change. Yes, they change by themselves. One day the recording has only the buzz. Days later, the same file has voices, other words, as if the frequency was alive or conscious. Today, I don't listen to UVB-76 anymore, not because I don't want to, but because I can't find it anymore. The frequency disappeared from my radio. I've tried others, nothing, as if it erased me, as if I'd gone too far. But every now and then, when everything is completely silent, I hear it. The same squeak, deep inside, like coming from inside my own head. And I wonder, what if it's inside me now? If you want to hear for yourself, tune into this radio station, preferably at night, then come back here to comment if you still have the sanity to do so. But the fact is, after all this, my life never went back to normal. At first, I tried to move on. I deleted everything from my computer, audio files, videos, notes, threw away the radio, the recorder, even my journal. Moved apartments, cut off social media, cut contact with the guy from Poland. He disappeared too, gone from forums, email, like he never existed. But still, that never really left me. I started having chronic insomnia. Sleeping became a challenge. When I managed it, it was only for 2 hours max, always waking up sweaty, shaking, with the same feeling, the buzz, now no longer in the radio, but inside me. I even developed a kind of auditory anxiety. Any repetitive noise, a fridge, a fan, a microwave beep, would trigger panic. It was like my brain had been conditioned to look for that sound, that frequency. Everyday life became a minefield. I'd catch myself bracing for noises before they even happened, flinching at silence, anticipating the next beep or hum. My social life was affected too. I lost my job, ended a 2-year relationship because she couldn't stand seeing me like that. Isolated, paranoid, obsessed, and I can't blame her. I didn't want to be around myself then either. That's when I decided to seek professional help. I started with psychologists, diagnosed with sleep disorder and possible stress-induced psychotic episode. They prescribed medication, which helped for a while, but the feeling never completely went away. Then I looked for other perspectives, more open-minded people, specialists in unexplained phenomena. I talked to physicists, sound engineers, even an ex-military guy who studied Cold War shortwave espionage. Most thought it was suggestion or coincidence, or, at most, a technical failure in the equipment that induced sensory experiences. But there was one guy, a retired Ukrainian researcher. He told me just one thing.
You shouldn't have listened for so long. Some frequencies go beyond the air. They mess with who you are. They enter where they shouldn't. They change you until you can't tell which thoughts are yours and which came with the sound.
After that, he never answered my emails again. Today, almost 2 years later, I live a nearly normal life. I say nearly because I still sleep with earplugs. I installed soundproofing in my bedroom. I don't use electronics with speakers near my bed anymore, and I keep a strict sleep routine with meditation, exercise, and a caffeine-free diet. I've thought about going back just once, just to listen, just to confirm, but I know if I tune in again, it will be waiting for me.